As somebody that's owned the Kemper for the last 5 years, I have always wished that Kemper would come out with something like the size of the HX Stomp. And in my opinion, having something with incredible amp tones, effects, can record, a tuner, and it's an all-in-one package is an absolute game changer. And all of those things led me to purchase the HX Stomp and build out a mini pedal board. And with that said, I wanted to give a Kemper user's perspective on what I love about the HX Stomp, where I think it falls short, and why I still love my Kemper in comparison to other Helix products I've owned. Let's dive in. What I appreciate most about the HX Stomp is that it delivers the same functionality and amp sounds as their flagship series, which costs 3 times as much as the Stomp. And on that same note, I think Line 6 has done a really fantastic job improving the value of the HX Stomp through firmware updates over the last several years. And one of the huge updates that I think bring a lot of value to the Stomp is the ability to now have 8 blocks instead of 6 blocks for each individual preset. And one other thing I really like about the Stomp is the optionality that Line 6 gives you to be able to customize and control each of those foot switches. And using different preset modes, such as snapshot mode, allow me to go in and modify or change 3 or 4 different effects all at once with one simple foot switch. And as somebody that enjoys having flexibility with their tonal options, I think the HX Stomp delivers world-class amp sounds and effects in a really small package. Now, I personally feel like Kemper still has better amp sounds and feel, but I'll talk more about that later. Lastly, I really enjoy the desktop editor. It's an absolute breeze to go in and use and modify presets, and adding IRs and pairing those with presets is super easy. I also love that with the HX Stomp, I can pack it in my mono case, and if I fly back to Nebraska and I need something convenient and portable, I have fantastic amp tones, I have something that records, and I have something I can plug in headphones with, all in a really small and compact solution. Of course, the Kemper and the Stomp are not direct competitors. Their price points are very different. But I've also owned the Helix and the LT, and I personally feel like the HX Stomp still has some of its own weaknesses and strengths. Specifically, I feel like the strengths of the HX Stomp are everything I've mentioned before. It's compact, it's an all-in-one rig that sounds and feels and looks fantastic. It is flexible, it can be used on a pedal board or all by itself. And where I think the HX Stomp falls short is more in its overall utility and being limited to just having 3 foot switches. In this case, I've combated that with having a Jet Micro or a Rockstock dual switch to be able to add a 4th and 5th switch for my HX Stomp. The only problem I really see there though is that I'm still limited to just having 3 snapshots per individual preset with the HX Stomp. And then I'd probably say my last dislike, and is more of really just a personal preference, is I feel like the Kemper has better amp response and feel than other Helix products I've used in the past. As I mentioned earlier, it's obvious that these 2 products are not direct competitors like the flagship Helix and the Kemper Stage would be. But with all that said, I still think that the Kemper shines when it comes to amp feel and amp response. Now, I've owned the flagship Helix, I've owned the LT, and now I've owned the HX Stomp, and there's absolutely a market for those products. They are fantastic, their effects are amazing, but personally, I feel like I miss my Kemper when playing the Stomp for that very reason. The amp response and feel feels better for me personally, and more like I'm playing a amp that's mic'd up in another room when I play through my Kemper. And arguably, I will say that I don't notice a difference when I'm playing in a full band mix with my Kemper versus the HX Stomp, but I do notice it when I'm playing alone. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I still wish that Kemper had something small and compact like the HX Stomp. And I think the HX Stomp is amazing for a multitude of reasons, like I mentioned earlier, for its size, its compactness, and its ease of use. And as somebody that is privileged enough to have the experience of the Kemper and the Helix, I'm definitely going to be keeping both because I really enjoy both and I think they both have their strong suits. I also made another video highlighting why I still think the HX Stomp makes sense even in 2023 and 24. Check it out right here, and I'll see you next time.